This is a story concerning a Viking god named Forseti. Forseti is the son of Balder, the shining god, married to Nanna. Forseti, he lives in his hall called Gleipnir, built of silver and gold. It's his job to quell strife among men, to bring peace and order, as will become clear from the story I'm about to tell. Down in the land of Frisia, south of Denmark, the people there worked hard and prospered, but the kings of that land had to pay tribute to their overlord at the time, the king of the Franks, King Charles the Great. Now Charles, he summoned the 12 wisest men in the whole of the Frisian country. And so, as required, they travelled to meet him, presented themselves at the door of his hall. I want you to give me a complete account of the laws that are used throughout Frisia. Time is precious. Give them to me now. My scribes will write them down. And the wise men, they conferred with each other, and they realised, after talking for some time, that the laws throughout Frisia that related to free men, to the nobility, to what kind of property one could hold, to compensation, so many laws, they were all different between one tribe and the next. And so they said to King Charles, "My Lord King, we must apologise, but we cannot give you the set of laws you've asked us for." And at this the king was not pleased. "You've wasted my time," he said to them. "You can choose one of 3 punishments: death, slavery, or being cast adrift at sea in a rudderless boat." And the wise men decided that the latter might be the best option. So, as the king had promised, they were put in a boat where the steering oar had been broken off the rear end, and so the tide took them miles out to sea until the land itself had vanished. A day went by, then another, and now the 12 wise men of the Frisians, they were beginning to feel the pangs of hunger, but even more, they were giving in to thirst. And so they prayed to the gods for salvation, and in particular, they prayed to Forseti, bringer of law and order. And a mist fell about the ship, and when it cleared, it had a 13th passenger, who carried a great gleaming axe, heavily inlaid with gold. They'd never seen the like, a splendid weapon. The stranger took the axe, plunged the head into the water, and he used it in the same way that one would use a steering oar, to guide the ship across the salt crests of the ocean. So at last, they came to an island, lying just offshore, not far from the border between Frisia and Denmark. And as soon as they'd reached the land, the stranger took his golden axe and hurled it at the ground, and straight away a spring of water bubbled up to the surface, and finally, at long last, the 12 wise men could have a drink. And then the stranger began to speak, and in a level, measured voice, he recited a full, comprehensive set of laws that all the Frisians could live by. And from that time, the island and the spring upon it was sacred to the god Forseti. The wise men were allowed to return to their kingdom and to give King Charles the laws for which he'd asked.